ma'am. Oh. Thank you. Are we gonna go straight through, Judge, or?
That's okay, no.
Okay.
All right. Osceola, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, we can hear you.
First up is Violet Bianchi. Can I have the state and PD to announce their names on the record, please?
Demetrius Wilson for the state.
Janae Marie Ante on behalf of the State Public Defender's Office.
Thank you. Ma'am, could you tell me your name?
Violet Bianchi.
Ms. Bianchi, you were arrested for trespass after warning. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. It appears that you qualify for Osceola County's pretrial release services. So I will authorize your release on PTR or a bond of $250, whichever you prefer. As a condition of PTR or bond, you will not return to the location at which you were arrested. Do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Have a good day. Hannah Kim. Can you tell me your name?
Hannah Kim.
Ms. Kim, you were arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for PTR, so I will authorize your release on PTR or a $500 bond, whichever you prefer. As a condition of PTR or bond, you will not drive without a valid driver's license. You will consume no alcohol while out on bond. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day. Jose Lemuse Havel.
Your Honor, he'll be needing the services of the Spanish interpreter.
Is the interpreter on the line? I have, we'll have to skip it for now and we'll try to get the interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Michael Marinelli, or Maringelli? Could you tell me your name?
Yeah, Michael Marangeli.
Mr. Maringelli, you were arrested for resisting an officer without violence and trespass after warning. I do find probable
Yeah, if I
cause.
could, 1 second, please.
I can't hear you. Yes, because it's put on mute. Right. Apparently he's gotten.
May I say my piece again before you continue? I was told by the store owner to go over there and get that $20 that was in my wallet as a settlement on the down payment of the settlement that we have working. I went over there. I grew up right down the street from that
Sir, I am
store,
not going to
so
decide whether you're guilty or innocent of
I'm
this.
just
That
saying
will
the
be for a
trespass-
jury.
No, ma'am. but
That will
the
be
cause
for a jury
arrest
to
was not
decide.
there. But 1 second.
Got done.
Hold on a second, why are they yanking me out? I can't finish?
No, let me finish first. I do find probable cause for his arrest. He does not qualify for PTR. A bond is stayed in the amount of $500 on each count. He will not return to the location of the arrest. With regard to the disorderly conduct on which he was on bond, I'm going to revoke bond in order that he be held at no bond until he sees the judge assigned to that case. Chickley Chris
Your Honor, he refused.
All right, he'll be reset for tomorrow. Who is that? I will temporarily appoint PD, yes. Lewis?
On which case, Your Honor?
On Mr. Sorry. Mr. Marangelli.
Nunez, Your Honor.
Mr. Nunez, could you tell me your name, please, sir?
Luis Nunez.
Mr. Nunez, you were arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling and criminal mischief. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. You do not qualify for PTR. I will stay bond on the burglary at $5,000 and on the criminal mischief at $500. If you post bond, do not have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victim and do not return to the residence. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you.
I don't prove not guilty here, right?
William Peschal? Could you tell me your name?
William Paschal.
Mr. Paschal, you were arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender temporarily to represent you. Does the state wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, given the facts of this case, state would ask for a $2,500 bond on this case.
All right. Does the defense wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
Your Honor, Mr. Peschel has been living in the area for almost a year now, Your Honor. He has a stable employment, and so if the court would entertain a $1,500 bond.
State, does he have any prior criminal history?
Your Honor, Pat Hill with PTR, I have his history. He has a 2011 criminal mischief, possession of burglary tools, property damage, and a VOP in 2015. So 2011 was his last conviction. He has no history of violent crimes.
All right, thank you. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500 with pretrial release. As a condition of that bond, you'll have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. Do you have any, sir, do you have any belongings at the alleged victim's residence?
All my belongings over there. My work clothes, my work gear, everything I need is over there.
All right, then I will allow one visit with law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. Otherwise, you are to maintain separate residences and have no contact with the alleged victim. Do you have any questions?
None whatsoever.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good day. Randy Ramkumar?
state your name.
Randy Ramkumar.
Mr. Ram?
morning.
Good morning. You were arrested for trafficking in controlled substances, possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to stay bond at $50,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, and $500 on count 3. You are presently out on bond in 2019 CF 3163 and 2019 CF 2464. I am going to revoke your bond in those two cases in order that you be held with no bond until you see the judge assigned to the case. Do you have any questions?
Your Honor, may I be heard?
You may.
May I be heard on a probable cause argument?
You may.
In reading the arrest affidavit, the officer Cruz cited the smell of cannabis to be the probable cause for the search. As of July 1st of this year, with the legalization of hemp in the state of Florida, the smell of cannabis is no longer probable cause for a search, and that's exactly what the officer cited as probable search for the car in Mr. Ramkumar's case. Your Honor, so at this time, I'd like to make an argument that there was no probable cause for the search, and that everything found as a result of the search with no probable cause
All right.
is
so
out.
You can file your motion to suppress. I do find probable cause.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
Angel Rivera Villalobos.
Your Honor, he'll be needing the services of the Spanish interpreter as well.
All right. We don't have one on the line yet, so we will put that aside. Roberto Rodriguez Almodovar.
He'll be needing the services of the Spanish interpreter as well.
All right. Put that aside. Anthony Sanchez Agosto. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Anthony Xavier Sanchez Agosto.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez Agosto, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you temporarily. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
State would just ask for $1,000 bond on this misdemeanor, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor, could I also make a probable cause argument on this case?
You may, but I've read the
May I be heard?
affidavit.
Your Honor, and may I be heard as to probable cause?
I said you may, although I have read the affidavit.
Sure, Your Honor. In reading this affidavit, there was no complaints of violence by the victim. There was no admission on Mr. Sanchez Agosto's part as to whether or not there was violence. The
It is
alleged injuries that
it
this
is a-
officer saw.
It is a purely circumstantial case. I agree.
And so, Your Honor, the alleged injuries that the officer saw, were explained by other activities that were not violent, that could have been consensual. There's no complaining witness here. There was no witnesses that saw any violence. Just the officer made assumptions based on what he saw, Your Honor, which I would argue is not probable cause for someone's arrest.
All right. Because the officer, as I read the affidavit, did seem to come upon the attack as it was occurring or ending, I do find that there is probable cause. Do you want to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
Your Honor, if the court is going to find probable cause, I would ask, because this is a weak one, I would ask for bond to be set in the amount of $100.
All right. I will set bond in the amount of $500 with pretrial release. Sir, I will order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, that you maintain separate residences. If you may return with law enforcement on one occasion to retrieve your belongings. You will possess no weapons or firearms while you're out on bond and PTR. Do you have any questions?
No, No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Cynthia Sipes.
She's approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, could you tell me your name?
Cynthia Sipes.
Ms. Sipes, you were arrested for trespass. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. Do you want me to temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you?
Yes.
I will
Yes.
appoint the public defender temporarily to represent you. It appears that you qualify for pretrial release, so I will authorize your release on pretrial release or the posting of a $150 bond, whichever you prefer. As a condition of your release, you will not return to the location of this arrest. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Philip Van Clegg.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Could you state your name, please?
Philip Ray Van Clegg.
Mr. Van Clegg, you were arrested for trespass on property. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. You qualify for pretrial release, so I will authorize your release on pretrial release or the posting of a $150 bond, whichever you prefer. As a condition of your release, you will not return to the location of the arrest. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Montrez Yarn. Could you tell me your name?
Montrez Yarn.
Mr. Yarn, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Say we just asked for $1,000, no contact with the victim. And I don't believe they were living together, but if they are, maintain separate residences.
Thank you. Defense.
Your Honor, if the court would entertain a $500 bond in Mr. Yarn's case, there are no injuries alleged, and it doesn't appear that there's a sworn statement by the victim.
And does he have any property at the address at which she lives?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I will set bond in the amount of $500. You will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You will maintain separate residences. I will permit you to go to this residence on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. You will possess no weapons or firearms while you're out on bond. I will also require that you be supervised by Osceola pretrial release. Do you have any questions, sir?
Oh, no.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Michael Barrios. Good morning again, Mr. Barrios. Could you tell me your name?
Michael Barrios.
Mr. Barrios, you were arrested for violating probation. It was an on-view arrest from an arrest yesterday. There was probable cause for your arrest, and there is probable cause for the on-view violation of probation arrest. There is no bond on this. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day. Susan Dolby.
She's approaching, Your Honor.
Good morning. Could you tell me your name?
Susan Dolby.
Ms. Dolby, you were arrested on an Orange County warrant. There was no bond set on that warrant. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. You should be transported to Orange County pretty shortly. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
We're going to see if we can get the interpreter on the line to hand, oh, she's here. Ah, there she is. All right, we have an interpreter. So can we have Jose Lemuse Havel, please?
Lemus Jovel.
Could you tell me your name?
Dígame su nombre, por favor.
José Lemus Jovel.
José Lemus Jovel.
Mr. Havel, you were arrested for operating a motor vehicle without a driver's license.
Señor Jovel, usted fue detenido por estar conduciendo un vehículo motor sin licencia válida.
I find probable cause for your arrest.
Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad para su detención.
Do you want me to temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you?
¿Desea usted que de manera provisional le designe un defensor público para representarle? Señor?
Sí.
Yes.
I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you.
Entonces, de manera provisional, designaré un defensor público para representarle.
You do qualify for pretrial release,
Usted cualifica para la libertad provisional,
so I will authorize your release on a $500 bond or pretrial release.
por lo tanto, autorizaré que sea puesto en libertad, sea con fianza de $500 o a través del programa de libertad provisional.
Whichever you prefer.
Cualquiera de los dos que preferiría usted.
As a condition of your release, you will not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Como condición de su libertad, estará usted prohibido de conducir un vehículo motor sin licencia válida.
Do you have any questions, sir?
Señor, ¿me tiene usted alguna pregunta que hacer?
No.
No.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Gracias, tenga buen día.
Angel Rivera Villalobos. Could you tell me your name?
Dígame su nombre.
Ángel Rivera. Ángel Rogelio Rivera Villalobos.
Angel Rivera Villalobos.
Sir, you were arrested for operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license and stalking.
Señor, usted fue detenido por estar conduciendo un vehículo motor sin licencia válida y por acoso.
I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter.
En este asunto determino que existen indicios de criminalidad para efectuar su detención.
I will appoint the public defender temporarily to represent you in these two cases.
En estos dos casos le designaré de manera provisional un abogado defensor público para representarle.
I will stay bond in the amount of $1,000 on the stalking and $500 on the operating a motor vehicle without a valid license.
Fijaré la fianza en $1,000 por la acusación de acoso y $500 por conducir sin licencia válida.
If you post bond, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim of the stalking.
Si usted logra depositar la fianza, estará prohibido de tener ningún tipo de contacto en absoluto con la supuesta víctima.
And you will not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Y también estará prohibido conducir un vehículo motor sin licencia válida.
It appears that he may have a hold
Parece que él tiene una orden de
from
retención
reviewing the initial appearance sheet.
al estudiar aquí la hoja de primera instancia.
It looks like an ICE hold for failure to appear for a hearing.
Parece ser que es una orden de retención por inmigración por falta de comparecencia.
Any questions, sir?
¿Alguna pregunta, señor?
No.
Oh,
Acérquese al micrófono. Oh, I thought he was going to say
ok.
something.
Oh, las cosas que hicieron ahí estaban correctas.
Acérquese al micrófono, no le entiendo bien.
Your Honor, counsel has indicated that he should stop speaking.
Okay.
Oh,
Have a good day, sir.
Buen día,
Roberto Rodriguez Almodovar.
señor. Roberto Rodríguez Almodóvar.
Sir, could you tell me your name?
Señor, indique su nombre.
Roberto Rodríguez Almodóvar.
Roberto Rodríguez Almodóvar.
You were arrested on 2 cases.
A usted lo detuvieron por 2 casos.
In 2019 MM 2901,
19 MM 2901
you were arrested on an outstanding capias for failure to appear.
fue detenido usted por una orden de arresto pendiente por un caso de falta de comparecencia.
Judge Yansevich set bonds in the amount of $2,000 on count 1 and $100 on count 2.
Y la juez Jansevich fijó la fianza con respecto al primer cargo en $2,000 y con respecto al segundo en 100.
Do you already have the public defender on that case?
En esos casos, ¿usted ya tiene defensor público? Señor.
No.
No.
I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you.
Entonces, de manera provisional, le designaré un defensor público para representarle.
In the second case, which is 2019 CF 1845B,
En el segundo caso, que es el 19 CF 1845B,
you were arrested on an arrest warrant for burglary of burglary of a structure,
usted fue detenido por una orden de arresto que se emitió por el acto de entrada ilícita con fines delictivos de un inmueble.
2 counts of burglary of a conveyance,
2 cargos de entrada ilícita con fines delictivos de un vehículo,
3 counts of criminal mischief,
3 cargos de causar daños a propiedad ajena
and 1 count of grand theft 3rd degree.
y un cargo de hurto de mayor cuantía como delito de tercer grado.
Judge Young found probable cause, as do I,
El juez Young determinó que existía indicios de criminalidad y igualmente lo hago yo.
Bond is stayed in the amount of $3,500 on the burglary of a structure.
Con respecto a la acusación de entrada ilícita con fines delictivos de un inmueble, se mantiene la fianza en $3,500.
$1,000 each on the burglary of a conveyance.
Y por entrada ilícita de fines delictivos de un vehículo, $1,000 por cada cargo.
$500 each on the criminal mischief.
Y por causar daños a propiedad ajena en cada uno, $500.
$500 on the grand theft.
Y por hurto de mayor cuantía, $500.
If you are able to post bond, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim.
Si logra depositar la fianza, estará usted prohibido tener contacto en absoluto con la supuesta víctima.
And you will not return to the scene.
Y también estará prohibido regresar al lugar de los hechos.
Do you have any questions, sir?
Señor, ¿acaso tiene usted alguna pregunta que hacerme?
No.
No.
Have a good day.
Buen día.
And I think that should take care of Osceola.
No, Your Honor, there's nobody else.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hornsby, who do you have?
That's Troy Hire,
Um,
deputy.
Do you know, where can I find him in my, what is he charged with? That'll tell me where I can find him.
Aggravated assault with a firearm,
Domestic or not?
none.
Not. Okay, higher?
Yes, H-E-Y-E-R.
All right. I will attempt to move him after the interpreter cases.
No problem, thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. So you just tell me where to stick him in my stack once I find him. Higher. I found him. He's got one case, one case. And which inmate am I going to put him after? Washington? All right, so I'll put him after Washington. Okay. Harris. Higher. All right, which one?
How are you?
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Frazzled today.
Here, put her after.
You don't normally work weekends, do you?
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
I recognize your voice,
Find her in here. Give us just a moment. We're Rhea Garcia. And third. All right, I think I'm ready. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Jonathan Martinez Rijo.
Jonathan Martinez Rijo.
Mr. Martinez Rijo, you were arrested for battery by strangulation and aggravated battery on a pregnant person. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. Do you want me to temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you?
Yes.
I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, state would just ask for a $5,000 bond. We can break it up 25 for each count, but state would just ask for 5,000 total. I don't really see any history that he's a violent felony offender or anything like that.
Defense, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Then I will set bond in the amount of $2,500 on each count. Sir, as a condition of bond, You will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You will maintain separate residences. You may return to the residence on one occasion with law enforcement to obtain your belongings. You will possess no weapons or firearms while you are released. Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Donde yo estoy viviendo con mi esposa, ella se mudó, so me imagino que yo puedo volver allá.
The place I was living with my wife, she moved out, so I'm guessing that I'm allowed to go back then.
If she's not there, you are allowed to go back, yes. You just must maintain separate residences.
Okay, firme ahí, por favor, señor.
Have a good day, sir.
Buen día, señor.
Usted también.
Sir, could you tell me your name?
Dígame su nombre.
César Fermín.
Caesar Hesmi?
César Fermín.
Caesar Fermín Francisco Montejo.
Sir, you were arrested on several counts. One for DUI, causing damage to property or the person of another, operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and leaving the scene of a crash involving property damage. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. PTR, does he qualify for PTR?
No, he did not, Judge.
All right, does he have any prior history?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He has 0 felonies, 2 misdemeanors, 1 failure to appear, which was 2/10/2018. No DOC. His short convictions for Florida was resisted without violence, possession of alcohol by a person under 21. His last conviction was possession of alcohol by a person under 21, and that was dated 6/13/2018. No out-of-state history.
Thank you. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
I do not have the file in front of me, Your Honor, so I can't really respond.
Thank you. Defense, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
Your Honor, I just asked for a $1,000 bond on the first count and subsidiary amounts be set on the other counts.
I will set a bond in the amount of $1,000 on count 2 and $100 each on counts 2 and 3. Count 1 is 1,000, counts 2 and 3 are $100 each. As a condition of bond, sir, you will not drive without a valid driver's license. You will consume no alcohol. Do you have any, and you will have no contact with the alleged victim of the crash. Do you have any questions, sir?
Sí, yo me huí de la parte donde tuve el accidente porque el señor me estaba golpeando.
Yes, count 1's a DUI. I was just basing it on the order they had him on. Yes.
Okay. I don't think he has any questions for the court at this time.
All right, thank you.
That's something that you'll address with your attorney. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate it.
Sir, could you tell me your name?
Louis.
Yeah.
Louis Ray Garcia.
All right. And Mr. Garcia, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. It appears you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you. And before I inquire about the matter of bond, I believe we have someone here that wishes to be heard. Sir, could you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Señor, por favor, levante la mano derecha para prestar juramento.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Jura solemnemente que la declaración que rendirá será la verdad, toda la verdad y la más que la verdad?
Sí.
Yes. Baja la mano, por favor.
Could you tell me your name?
Aquí está el micrófono y dígame su nombre.
José Antonio Raya.
José Antonio Raya.
And sir, is there something that you wish to tell me?
Señor, ¿acaso usted tiene algo que me desea contar?
Lo único que pido yo es que buscar un tratamiento para mi hijo mental y psicológicamente.
All I'm asking is for my son to get some kind of mental treatment. He's not doing well.
Do you, it appears from what I've read that he lives in your home, is that correct?
Según lo que he leído aquí, parece que él estuvo viviendo en su hogar. ¿Es cierto eso?
Está viviendo conmigo.
Yes, he is living with me.
All right. I would typically order him not to return. Do you want him back in your home?
En general le ordenaría a él que no esté prohibido regresar a la vivienda. ¿Acaso usted desea que él regrese a la vivienda?
Sí quiero porque él no tiene más a dónde ir.
I would like that because he has nowhere else to stay.
As a condition of his release, I cannot order that he get mental health treatment. That would be a condition of sentence if he's convicted. So understanding that I won't be able to order him to have treatment right now, do you feel safe with him in your home?
Bueno, pero como condición de la libertad no se me permite ordenarle a él que reciba tratamiento. Eso sería algo que se podría imponer en el momento de la sentencia si es clasificado convicto y recibe un fallo condenatorio. Pero por ahora no puedo ordenar tratamiento. Siendo así, ¿usted piensa que estaría usted mismo protegido si él fuera a regresar a la vivienda?
Sí, porque él se pone agresivo nada más cuando toma vino o está fumando marihuana, porque también lo hace. Es cuando él se pone agresivo.
Yes, because this only happens when he either drinks or starts smoking marijuana. When he does that, that's when he becomes aggressive.
Thank you. Any questions, Dave?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, defense?
No, Your Honor.
Does the state wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Although not convictions, he was arrested for battery, domestic violence 3 times. I see 1 failure to appear on his record, 6 misdemeanor convictions. State would ask for a $2,500 bond.
Okay. Defense.
Just be asking for $1,000, Your Honor. And that's based on the fact that it appears as though from the victim's testimony, he's going to be the one financially supporting Mr. Raya Garcia.
I will set bond in the amount of $1,000 with the following conditions. Sir, you will have no hostile contact whatsoever with your father.
Yes, ma'am.
You will not consume any alcohol while you are released. You will not consume any cannabis, whether you have a prescription or not, while you're released. You will possess no weapons or firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll let you translate that for the
Se fija
father.
la fianza en $1,000, las condiciones de las cuales serán prohibido tener ningún tipo de contacto hostil con la supuesta víctima, prohibido consumación de alcohol mientras que esté en libertad, prohibido consumación de cannabis, sea que tenga receta o no, y prohibida la tenencia de armas o armas de fuego.
If you violate any of the conditions that I've set, your father can write to the judge that has the case or contact the bondsman.
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll be placed back in jail.
Si usted incumple con las condiciones que acabo de imponer, su padre podrá escribirle una carta al juez o hasta al agente fiador para que usted sea regresado a la cárcel.
Sir, do you have any questions?
Señor, ¿usted tiene alguna pregunta que hacerme?
Creo que no.
I don't believe so.
And sir, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Buen día.
Gracias.
Yeah. You're all set.
Yes, I believe so. I don't think anybody else out there needs the interpreter. That'd be great.
¿Hay alguien en el público que requiere una traductora? Si es así, levante la mano. No one has raised their hand.
All right, thank you. Have a good day. Could you tell me your name?
Cody Lubeck.
Mr. Lubeck, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. Do you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you? I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. It appears that we have somebody here that wants to be heard. Ma'am, could you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Could you tell me your name?
Katie Lubeck?
And you are the alleged victim of this incident, correct?
Yes.
Is there something that you want to tell me?
I would like it dismissed and for him to come home.
All right, I can't dismiss it today. That will be the decision of the state attorney, or if they file charges, ultimately a jury or a judge that is presiding over the case. Is there anything else that you want to tell me?
No, I love him.
State, do you have any questions?
I do, Judge. Ma'am, how many interactions have you had with the defendant that resulted in physical or verbal altercations?
Just 2.
And when was the last one?
It would have been last year.
What time? What time last year? What month?
I'm not for sure.
Have you ever called 911 on him before?
I did call 911 before.
On that last occasion last year?
Yes.
How many kids do you have together?
We have 2.
You live together?
Yes.
If something were to happen again, would you call 911?
No.
Why not?
If I felt threatened, I would.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any inquiry on behalf of the defense?
No, Your Honor.
State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond? If he
Yes, Your
does
Honor.
not-
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
given the victim's testimony, he doesn't have any history. State would just ask for a $500 bond until the following decision is made.
Defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I will set bond in the amount of $500. Sir, if you're able to post bond, you will have no hostile contact with your wife. You will consume no alcohol while out on bond. Do you have any questions?
I can't see my kids or my wife.
No, I said no hostile contact.
Oh, right.
That means you can't, if you feel an argument coming on, you got to leave.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you can't argue and certainly no physical altercations.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any other questions?
No.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Could you tell me your name?
Stephen Haddon.
Mr. Haddon, you were arrested for camping and for another city ordinance violation, which was a resisting an officer without violence, a violation of a city ordinance rather than a first-degree misdemeanor. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. And it does not appear that he qualifies for PTR.
No, there's not.
All right.
Your Honor, Mr. Haddon indicated to me that he would like to enter a plea if Your Honor or the state would make an offer.
The court is not going to make an offer. It appears that he has 12 prior felony convictions, 85 misdemeanors, and 2 failures to appear, and some unknown dispositions.
State is of the same sentiment, Your Honor. I can't make an offer right now.
So do you wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
Yes, Your Honor. I would be asking for ROR on behalf of Mr. Haddon. I understand, of course, the extensive history. However, I'm only noting 2 failures to appear. The last one appears to have been 8 years ago. Additionally, the nature of what he's charged with, sleeping outside, although unfortunately it is, it's okay. It's still an offense, obviously, in Florida, but many of the federal courts have stricken down any similar municipal ordinances that take non-criminal behavior and criminalize really the state of being homeless.
State has no objection to ROR, Judge. Given the charges of the case.
Given the state having no objection to ROR, I will release him on his own recognizance.
I think it's county for that, man.
What?
I think we're county for that.
Just say thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, 'cause she's gonna release you.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I think
All right, man.
Okay.
Watch out for some court dates, okay?
I'll be here.
All right.
Could you tell me your name?
Stephen Hogue.
All right. What happened to Henry Raymond?
Mental health, Your Honor.
Mental health? All right. He will, he was here yesterday. I did review it yesterday, and I will find probable cause. I will temporarily appoint the public defender for Mr. Raymond and order that the IA be reset. Mr. Hogue, you were arrested for trafficking in methamphetamine, possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of 3 counts of possession of controlled substance, a count of possession of heroin, count of possession of cannabis under 20 grams, and a count of possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. In light of the severity of the charges and your prior criminal history as well as history of failures to appear, I'm going to stay bond in the amount of $250,000 on count 2, $150 bonds on the possession of methamphetamine with intent, and 3 counts of possession of controlled substance and a count of possession of heroin, and $100 on the 2 remaining misdemeanors. Do you have any questions, sir?
Is there any way I can get the bond reduced? I recently lost my job at Hope and Help. I was an HIV/AIDS 501 tester. I have strong bonds to the community. I'm a member of Narcotics Anonymous. I have several members there that would vouch for me.
Sir, you have 8 failures to appear.
I would be more than willing to wear a ankle monitor. My mother is sick with multiple sclerosis, and I really do need to take care of her. I understand. I would be more than willing to be very astute and observant of all of my court dates. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'd like to honestly try to prove to you. I would prove to you that I would be more than able to do this. All I do ask is for a reduction. My mother doesn't have a lot of money. She's on disability, and I don't have a lot of money right now either. It would be a blessing if I could just please have that. I understand the nature of the crimes, but I'm willing to show that I am not.
I am not willing to reduce the bond. Have a good day. Could you tell me your name?
William Robinson.
Mr. Robinson, you were arrested for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle, fleeing or eluding a law enforcement officer with sirens and lights activated, driving with the license revoked as an habitual offender, and resisting an officer without violence, as well as aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer with a motor vehicle and aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. I do find probable cause for your arrest on these 3 cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
State would ask that you just stay the bond amounts for all your,
Oh, actually, before I appoint the public defender to represent you, it appears you don't qualify. Do you make $800 a week?
I was before I got locked up last time,
All right, well, when did you get locked up last time?
2 months ago.
And you lost your job then?
Yeah,
So you're not making $800 a week now?
not currently at this moment, no.
Okay. Then I will at least temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. State?
I apologize, Your Honor. State would ask that you stay bonds on the Ag Bat Leo and the Ag Assault Leo. As for the F3s, state would ask $5,000 bond for each count. The grand theft, the fleeing, attempting to elude, duelist, habitual offender, and the resisting, $100 bond is fine with the state.
Defense?
Your Honor, I don't have the affidavit in front of me anymore. What is could the court tell me what the number set right now is on the ag assault and aggravated battery?
Yes, they were 5,000.
5,000
each, I think.
So as to count 2, I would just ask for subsidiary bonds to be set. As to counts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and stay the primary.
All right, I have 3, they were done as 3 separate cases. So the grand theft, third degree, fleeing and eluding, driving while license revoked as an habitual offender, and resisting without is 1 case. And then he's got different case numbers for the ag battery on a Leo and ag assault on a Leo.
Thank you, Your Honor. In that case, as to case ending in 15866, I would ask that the bond be stayed. As to case number 15863, would ask for a $2,500 bond, and as to case 15868, would be asking for 1,000 bond with subsidiaries, as to counts 2, 3, and 4.
On the 15868, sorry, there's no bonds right now?
There's no bonds, yes. So she's asking for 1,000 and then subsidiary bonds.
Again, given the nature of the charges, Your Honor, in his criminal history, state would ask for 5,000 for 1 through 3 and 100 for the misdemeanor.
Then in 2019 CF 15868, with regard to the grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle, I will set bond in the amount of $150. With regard to the fleeing or eluding with sirens and lights activated, I will set bond in the amount of $2,500. With regard to count 3, I will, driving while license revoked as an habitual offender, I will set bond at $150. And with regard to the resisting an officer without violence, I will set bond in the amount of $100. In 2019 CF 15866, I will stay bond in the amount of $5,000. In 2019 CF 15863, I will set bond in the amount of $2,500. Sir, as a condition of posting bond, I will require that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim of the grand theft motor vehicle, that you not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
So what was that? Can I get the total? for the bond?
So,
Could you tell me your name?
Robert Washington.
Mr. Washington, you were arrested for possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. At this point, it does not appear that you qualify for pretrial release, and the present bonds are $500 for the cannabis and $100 for the resisting without violence. Anyone wish to be heard with regard to that?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, does the state have an offer, or the court have an offer?
I cannot give an offer with this new charge, the cannabis charge. They would have to go to intake for a filing decision.
State will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe their office has a policy of not prosecuting cannabis cases.
Exactly, so we'd have to go to intake. I can't give an offer.
So wouldn't you be asking for ROR if you can't?
Not because.
The
State's not
defense,
asking-
Your Honor, would be asking for ROR, given the state's policy of not prosecuting cannabis cases, and
Your Honor,
also on the resisting without violence, as the resisting was as a result of the arrest for that offense.
Your Honor, whether or not state's prosecuting cannabis cases, this came in as 2 counts. State would ask the bond be stayed for either count or for both counts. I apologize. And given that he does have a history, even though it's not recent, state would ask that the bond be stayed. A motion can be heard later, at a later time, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right. I will stay bond in the amount of $500 on the cannabis and $100 on the resisting without.
Just don't talk about the facts. Just don't talk about the facts of your case. Sorry.
Your Honor, is it okay if I say anything?
You may, very briefly.
Ma'am, I'm not even from Florida. I am from New Jersey. And no disrespect to anybody, I apologize. It was some of the dumbest things that I...
You may not want to talk about the facts, because that could
Right,
later
I'm
be
not
used
talking about the
against you.
facts, but, you know, when he say past history, I'm not even from Florida. I've never been convicted in Florida or anywhere. I am a grandfather. I have custody of my granddaughter since she was 6.5 weeks. She is 10 years old. I'm doing a positive thing. I made an honest mistake, you know what I mean? And he's saying that there's a past history. There is no past history, Your Honor. I've never been in the state of Florida or anything. And I've been clean for 27 years in the state of New Jersey with no fines, no probation or anything. And this is the first episode that ever happened.
Thank you, sir. The state will decide whether they're going to prosecute you or not. That is their decision, not mine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Sir, could you state your name?
Troy, higher.
Mr. Heyer, you were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. You have an attorney, it appears. Mr. Hornsby, do you want to make your appearance for the record?
Yes, Richard Hornsby for Mr. Heyer.
All right. And before I inquire about bond, it looks as if he qualifies for PTR.
Correct.
State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
Yes, Your Honor. He doesn't have a history, but given the facts of the case, state would ask for a $2,500 bond.
Judge, we'd be asking for a $1,000 bond. We think that's sufficient to ensure he appears for any court proceedings and satisfy the needs of pre-trial release conditions. As I think the court may know, he's been a law enforcement for 24 years, Department of Corrections 10, and the past 14 with Orange County Sheriff's Office. He's never been arrested in his life, and he's born here in Orange County. And I think there's a reasonable interpretation of the facts that he was engaged in justified self-defense based upon the Uber driver having overstayed the need to be at his house late at night.
All right, thank you. I will set bond in this case in the amount of $1,500 or pretrial release, whichever you prefer. As a condition of your release, I will require that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, that you consume no alcohol while you're out on bond, and that you not possess any firearms while you're out on bond. If you have any firearms in your home, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 24 hours. Any questions?
No, Judge.
Anything from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Judge, I do have one question. With the firearm issue, would it be possible for him to, for his wife to give his firearms to another family member to hold during the pendency of this? Because he does have some hunting type firearms and things.
State, what is your position?
Given that it's a firearm offense, Your Honor, I would ask that it be released to law enforcement until the case gets disclosed.
The only reason I say, Judge, is under the new, the new laws are in effect, it's very difficult to get firearms returned, even if the case is dismissed. You still have to have a hearing, you still have to file a motion. Going through the legal department of sheriff's office has made it difficult, especially when you have things, let's say, theoretically, he was convicted and he wanted to transfer ownership to the other family. That's still a problematic issue.
There's no way to ensure that he won't have access to them, even if he gives them to a family member, Your Honor.
I am going to require that they be surrendered to law enforcement for safekeeping until the case is disposed of.
Thank you, Judge.
One way or the other.
Yes.
Thank you. Can you tell me your name?
It's Creole, it's a Creole.
Creole case? Do we have a Creole interpreter?
What's his name? Oh, thank you. Judge, you have a moment? Can we approach?
You may. Do we have a Creole interpreter on the line?
Yes, you do.
All right, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm now going to be speaking with the defendant. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Oui, allô, et moi, le Joanne, m'a fait traduction. Est-ce que vous avez juste un nom?
Yes. Yves Kenzi Laguerre.
Comment?
Yves Kenzi Laguerre.
It's Kenzie Laguerre.
Yes.
Sir, you were arrested for attempted murder with a deadly weapon and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will temporarily... sorry, go ahead.
Alors, monsieur était arrêté parce que vous avez essayé de tuer un monde et puis avec un. Comme si vous avez mon dans le cou, avec un bagage dans le monde, alors je vois que vous avez assez de cause pour être arrêté.
I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you.
Je vais temporairement et défense publique là pour représenter.
Before I address the matter of bond, I see we have someone here that wishes to be heard. Ma'am, could you...
Avant que
sorry, go ahead.
avant que me discuter bon de l'homme, il y a un monde là qui les parler. Alors, madame, est-ce que vous avez levé main?
Ma'am, could you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Levé main droite pour le jurer.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Est-ce que vous jurez que tout ce que vous dire la vérité, toute la vérité, rien que de la vérité?
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am, could you tell me your name?
Stephanie
Madame, est-ce que vous avez un nom?
Tell me again.
Stephanie Boniface.
Stephanie Boniface.
All right. Ms. Boniface, you are the alleged victim of this incident?
Yes.
Alors, c'est allegé victime de l'incident ça?
Yeah, but he does. And is there something that you want to tell me, ma'am?
Yes.
Et puis, est-ce que vous avez que vous voulez dire, madame?
You may proceed.
Tu peux continuer?
Okay, as if for now, I'm so scared of him. I don't want him to be near me at all because I'm really, really scared of him because he was trying to kill me.
All right, let her interpret, please.
Alors, je suis vraiment peur, je ne parle pas pour le bon côté parce que il était essayé de tuer.
Is there anything else that you want to tell me?
C'est quand quel autre bagage que vous voulez dire?
No.
Non.
State, are there any inquiry?
Alors, l'État, c'est quand quelle demande?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
Non, juge.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Aucune question? Non,
Thank you,
juge.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Merci, madame.
In reading the affidavit, this is an attempted first-degree murder with a deadly weapon, so it is a life felony. I do find that proof of guilt is evident or presumption great, but I do recognize that I have discretion to set a bond. Is the state... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alors, sur l'affidavit là, ça c'est un crime de premier degré. Ça sont, si vous avez un monde coupable qui a fait vie en prison, ça sont félonie.
State, do you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor.
L'État, vous voulez entendre? Oui, juge.
Given the facts of the case, the fact that we have several independent witnesses, the fact that the victim is present, says that she doesn't want to see him because she felt her life was in fear, state would ask that no bond remains.
Alors, parce que ça nous. Information ba nous parce que tu as Jean-Baptiste était sévère et puis tu as l'autre témoin puis victime non l'a dit et que le peur pour ville alors nous recommander pour pas le bond.
Defense?
Nothing at this time, Judge.
Rien pour le moment, juge.
At this time, I will stay bond at no bond on the attempted murder count.
Alors pour le moment, je vais mettre pas bail bon pour que tu essaie de tuer mon nom.
On the aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, I will set bond at $15,000.
Et puis pour l'autre compte là que tu bail mon nom quoi avec un bail non maintenant, je vais mettre la 15 000.
You will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim.
Ou pa gen ken kontak avek victime nan?
You will possess no weapons or firearms.
Ou pa gen ken zam?
Do you have any questions, sir?
Est-ce gen ken question, monsieur?
No.
No.
All right, thank you, and thank you, Madam Interpreter.
You're welcome. Thank you for using our services. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Au revoir.
No, he's staying in jail, so I'm trying to end call, there we go. Oh, yes. Are you ready for, this is higher.
Do you want to do it on record?
Oh, yes, yeah, that'd be great.
How would you like to address it, Judge?
All right, does Mr. Heyer need to be back in here?
Only if you want him to, Judge. It's fine. I've spoken with him, Judge, and he does have a law enforcement friend who, oh, here he comes. So, Judge, I've spoken with Mr. Heyer regarding the surrendering of the weapons, and as I explained, it would be problematic because of the volume of them. What we proposed is he has a law enforcement friend by the name of, I believe, Joe Ingraham. Is that correct, Mr. Heyer? Sure. That we believe that is active duty law enforcement and would take possession of the firearms during the pendency of the case. So what we asked the court to do is to give Mr. Heyer an expanded period of time because of the number of 72 hours to either turn those weapons over to Mr. Ingraham or to surrender them directly to the sheriff's office. And if he surrenders them to Mr. Ingraham, obviously I would get some type of documentation acknowledging that he received those and turn it and file it with the court.
I will permit him to either surrender his firearms to the sheriff's office or to a law enforcement friend who is willing to attest to the fact that he has them and he will not permit Mr. Heyer to have have access to them at all until the court indicates that it is appropriate to do so.
Excellent, Judge.
And I will give 72 hours to get that surrendering done.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. 72 hours to either surrender to the sheriff's office or to a law enforcement officer who is willing to maintain them and will not permit access by Mr. Heyer until further court order. And place documentation in the court file regarding the surrender. Do we have a Hungarian? Oh. All right. Hello, can I have the individual on, do I have an interpreter on the phone?
Thank you.
Yes, this is Judith, 110176.
All right, I'm going to, I believe you are needed for Mr. Tornyi. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Hello, itt Judith beszél, én vagyok a tolmács. Mi a neve?
Kezét csókolom, Barnabás Tornyi itt Amerikában, Magyarországon Tornyi Barnabás.
Barnabás Tornyi.
Sir, you were arrested for petty theft.
Lopás miatt lett letartóztatva.
I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter.
Ebben az esetben a bíró úgy véli, hogy volt oka ennek a letartóztatásnak.
I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you.
Ideiglenesen egy állami ügyvédet fogok megbízni az ön védelmezésével.
You do not qualify for pretrial release.
Nincs joga ebben az esetben szabadlábra helyezésre az ítélet előtt.
I will stay bond at $500.
I could not hear this last statement, Your Honor. This is the interpreter.
All right, I indicated I will stay bond at $500.
egy garancia összeget fogok megszabni $500.
As a condition of that bond, you will not return to the Walmart.
És az egyik feltétele ennek az, hogy nem tér vissza abba a Walmartba,
That is at 11930 Narcousie Road.
1120, ahol az az üzlet van.
Do you have any questions, sir?
Vannak kérdései?
Igen. Szeretnék
Yes.
egy pár mellékmondatot mondani, hogyha szabad ilyenkor, mert nem voltam még így bíróság előtt.
I would like to make a number of comments, if I may. I've never been in a situation like this in court.
You may not want to talk about the facts of the case.
Nem tanácsos talán önnek a tényekről beszélni ebben az esetben,
Because anything that you tell me can later be used in court.
mert bármi, amit ön elmond, az esetleg ön ellen használható a törvényszéki kihallgatás esetén.
Én fölkészültem mindenre természetesen, és tudom, hogy nem volt számlám a árucikkekről, viszont gyógyszerhatás.
Pillanat. Your Honor, Mr. Tornyi is making those statements, so I'm required, even though you advised him not to, so I'm required to interpret them. I do know that I did not have a receipt to present for the items.
A másik.
Sir, before you go any farther,
Mielőtt folytatja,
I am not going to decide whether you're guilty or not guilty of this offense.
hallgasson ide, a jelenlegi bíró nem fogja eldönteni, hogy hibás-e vagy nem ebben az esetben.
That will be left for another day.
Az egy más napra marad.
Megértettem, és azt szeretném, hogyha hazaengedne most a gyerekemhez, mert egyedül van, mert az ő édesanyja és az én feleségem elhagyott bennünket, szeparét vagyunk, és vállás előtt vagyunk, és ő most egyedül van otthon, egyik indokom, a másik pedig
Átadom, pillanat. I would like the judge to allow me to go home to my child. He's home alone. His mother, my wife, has left us, and he's alone.
You do have a bond set in the amount of $500.
I paid.
You paid the bond?
Yes.
All right, then you should be released.
10 hours before.
Okay, Your Honor, I guess you don't need me to interpret that then.
I understood that. Do you have any indication that the bond has been posted?
Én
All right, they have not received the bond yet, but as soon as it's posted, it'll take an hour or two to process you out, but they will.
Tegnap este megkérdezte engem egy hölgy, hogy van-e debit vagy kreditkártyám, mondtam, hogy mindkettő van a lefoglalt csomagjaimban, készpénz is volt, és én fölajánlottam, hogy vegyék ki a csomagból, és azonnal indítsák el, és azt mondták, 2 óra alatt megérkezik az összeg. Mind a kettőn volt összeg.
Most várjon. Last night I was asked if I have a debit or credit card. I told them I have both. I also had cash and instructed them to go through the items that were taken from me and take the payment. And they told me that within 2 hours it will be done.
I am unlucky.
Who's they?
Yeah, who is they? Was that the booking, the people at booking?
Kinek mondta, hogy azt vegyék ki azt a pénzt?
Ott a pultnál jött oda egy hölgy, és megkérdezte, hogy tudok-e fizetni $500, meg talán valami 10%-ot, és én azt mondtam igen, és kivette a csomagomból, és odahívott, és megmutatta, hogy ez a két kártya. Mondtam, igen, kérem, mind a kettőn van pénz, kérem, azonnal vegye le.
Some a lady at the counter came up to me, asked me, and she went through my items, pulled out 2 cards, asked me if they are mine. I told them yes. I told them there's money on them and to immediately take out the $500.
In property shows he only had $31 in cash. However, he does have credit cards, which was 2. He needed to get a form and call a bondsman first to see what a bondsman will accept the credit cards, and then from there he would get a correction officer to get him a form to sign those credit cards over to the bondsman if the bondsman accept that.
All right, can you translate that?
I couldn't hear it well. If you could repeat, Your Honor, it was too far for me to hear.
Okay. What she indicated is that he will have to get a bondsman who's willing to accept a credit card.
Önnek kell találnia egy ilyen egy személyt, aki tudja ezt garantálni. Ezt angolul úgy hívják, hogy bondsman, és az kell garantálja az összeget, akinek ön adhatja.
And once you find a bondsman that's willing to accept a credit card, then you'll sign a form that will release the credit card to the bondsman.
És amikor megtalálja ezt a hivatalos személyt, akkor alá kell írjon egy ívet, amiben megengedi, hogy használja a hitelkártyát erre a célra.
And then the bondsman will bond you out and charge your credit card.
És ő az, aki majd vállalja az ön úgy szólván kiváltását.
De debitkártyát is adtam, az pedig direkt a bankból azonnal levonható. Tehát, vagy miért nem szóltak?
I have provided a debit card as well, which should have enabled them to withdraw the money immediately. Why wasn't I told all this?
I can't answer that for you.
Nem tud erre válaszolni a bíró. My child is alone.
Well, the sooner you get with a bondsman that will either take cash or from your debit card or take a credit card, then the sooner you will get out.
Szóval minél előbb talál egy ilyen személyt, akit magyarul kezesnek neveznek, annál hamarabb lesz ez elintézve, és szabadlábra helyezik.
Az esetleg még ma megtörténhet most?
Can that happen today?
That depends on how quickly you can get on a phone with a bondsman that can understand you and have a conversation with you.
Szóval minél előbb talál egy ilyen kezest, annál hamarabb fog sikerülni, attól függ, hogy milyen hamar tud egy ilyet keríteni.
And perhaps the public defender can assist you with that.
Esetleg az állami ügyvéd, akit megbíztam, tud önnek segíteni egy ilyen személyt találni.
Az ügyvéd, igen, csak ez lassabb, tehát hogyha van egy ismerősöm, aki behoz cash-t, mert most is van azt hiszem 300 valamennyi a pénztárcámban, amit lefoglaltak, tehát ha valaki $200 hozna, akkor azonnal intézhetném, hogyha kapok lehetőséget beszélni valakivel.
That may be a slower process. Even at the moment, I have $300 in cash in my wallet that has been taken. And if I'm able to get in touch with a friend who could bring the remaining $200, then I assume everything could go faster. Is that right?
According to what they were reading me from booking, you only had $31 in cash in your wallet.
Ami az információ szerint, amit a bíró kapott, csak $31 volt készpénzben a pénztárcájában.
But if you do have a friend that can bring down cash, it will happen much quicker.
Igen, de ha tényleg van olyan barátja, aki hozhat készpénzbe, elhozhatja azt az összeget készpénzbe, akkor hamarabb megy az egész.
If the interpreter could please tell him to call Moncrief. I'm going to email my friend there so that they know what his situation.
Moncrief is a name?
Yes.
Okay. He is to call Moncrief? Is that what I am to tell him?
Yes, and I believe she's provided the phone number.
Will be providing, I assume. Ma'am, will you be able to give me the phone number as well for this Moncrief?
I think she wrote it down for him and he has it in front of him.
Okay. Szóval kapott egy telefonszámlát egy Moncrief nevű személyhez.
Igen, a mellettem lévő hölgy. Igen,
És
itt van.
akkor azt hívja fel.
De nem tudok úgy angolul, hogy el tudjam neki mondani, tud segíteni nekem az ügyvéd, aki mellettem áll, ő az ügyvédem.
So the lady who is standing beside me, is she my court-appointed attorney?
For today.
Mára ő a megbízott ügyvédje. Can she help me? I don't know English enough to explain what I need.
She indicated that she is going to email someone at Moncrief who can help him.
Azt mondta ez az ügyvédnő, akit megbíztak, hogy e-mailben értesíti Moncrieft, hogy miről van szó.
Igen, és akkor hazamehetek ma a gyerekemhez, ez a legfontosabb nekem.
And after that I can go to my child. That is the most important thing to me.
As soon as you post bond, yes.
Miután a pénzt befizeti, igen.
But the longer you stand here, she's not going to be able to email until I finish this large stack of paperwork and the other inmates that are here.
Szóval minél előbb befejezi, az a megbízott ügyvéd nem mehet, amíg a bíró nem fejezi be a dolgát ott. Úgyhogy minél előbb intézkedjen ön.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You. Have a good day. And thank you, Madam Interpreter.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Could you tell me your name?
Maisha Hall.
Ms. Hall, you were arrested for aggravated battery with a weapon. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. It looks like you qualify for PTR. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. State would ask for a $5,000 bond given the severity of the charge, Your Honor. There is no criminal history.
Your Honor, I'm asking the court to release Ms. Hall on pretrial release.
All right. I will authorize her release on pretrial release or bond in the amount of $5,000, whichever she prefers. Ma'am, if you are able to post bond, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You may return, you will maintain separate residences. You may return to the residence on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. You will possess no weapons or firearms while you are on release. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, that's the wrong thing in there, sorry. Could you tell me your name?
Charles Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, you were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. He has several drug-related convictions and also a prior battery conviction. So as a count one, state would ask for a $2,000 bond. 2 and 3 can have $100 each.
Defense? And I do show that he is out on a misdemeanor case at the moment out on bond.
Misdemeanor trespass case. Then I've gone to all of my court dates. I've gone to every one of my court dates.
Your Honor, as to just the out on bond case, I would ask that the court consider taking no action, or alternatively, if the court does plan to revoke the bond, to consider setting a new bond double the amount.
And I think he was ROR'd, so it would have to just be some amount of bond. All right, with regard to the possession of methamphetamine, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. $100 on the possession of drug paraphernalia, and $500 bond on the battery. If you're able to post bond, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim of the battery. You will maintain separate residences. Do you have anything at the place in which that person lives? No? No belongings there? You will possess no weapons or firearms while you are out on bond. With regard to 2009, that's a 19?
Yes.
2019 MM 7792. I will revoke your ROR and set bond in the amount of $2,000. Are there? Yes. $1,000 on the trespass and $1,000 on the resisting. Do you have any questions, sir?
Can I ask what my next court date will be?
I do not know that.
You don't have any federal charges.
Cool, thank you.
Tell me your name.
Biko.
Ms. Biko, you were arrested for criminal mischief and domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. You do qualify for the services of the public defender, and I will appoint them to represent you. You also qualify for PTR. Before I hear about bond, I see we have somebody here that wishes to be heard. Sir, could you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Could you tell me your name?
John Manning.
And Mr. Manning, are you the alleged victim of this incident?
Honor.
All right, is there something that you want to tell me?
Yes, this is a first offense. She doesn't do anything wrong. She's a model, citizen in my eyes. Just release her ROR, please. We got kids together.
All right, do you maintain residence together?
Negative. She has hers, I have mine.
All right, thank you. State, do you
Yes,
have any
Your Honor, thank you.
questions?
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How long have you known her?
3 years.
How many kids do you have together?
We have one, but she has another daughter that's 5 years old.
How many times have you had any physical interactions with her?
First time.
Any verbal altercations?
Arguments.
Any altercations in front of the children?
Negative.
If something were to happen again, would you call 911?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, any questions on behalf of the defense?
No, Your Honor.
And sir, do you wish to have contact with her?
Yes, I do.
All right. Then I will, State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
500
She
for
does
both.
qualify for PTR.
PTR or 500 on both is fine with the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
If the court's inclined to ROR, that would be the first request, but PTR in the alternative.
I will release her on pretrial release or a $500 bond, whichever she prefers. I will order that she have no hostile contact with the alleged victim and that they continue to maintain separate residences while this case is pending.
Your Honor, is that?
Oh, and there is another count. That is, I will, the $500 bond was on the battery, on the criminal mischief. I will PTR or ROR. PTR if she wants PTR on both. Otherwise, if she wants to post a bond rather than PTR, then she can post a $500 bond on the battery and an ROR on the criminal mischief with the conditions that I listed. Is that too difficult?
I mean, if I get the ROR, I'm charged anyways.
Okay, so we'll do $400 on the battery and $100 on the criminal mischief. How about that? Or PTR, as I indicated. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
So if I could just have a second to explain that option to her,
Okay.
Your Honor. Okay, so you either do pretrial release, you get released without paying anything, but you have to check in with the court about once a month. Sometimes consuming and yeah, so just do pretrial release.
Right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Could you tell me your name?
Scott Eugene Day.
Mr. Day, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. Before we discuss the matter of bond, I believe somebody's here and wishes to be heard. Ma'am, could you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Could you tell me your name?
Jennifer Jakes.
All right, and are you the alleged victim?
Yes.
Is there something you wish to tell me?
That I would like him to come home. I didn't call the police. That's basically it.
All right, thank you. State, do you wish to
Thank you, Your Honor.
inquire?
Ms. Jakes,
Yes.
how long have you known the defendant?
Over 5 years.
How many children do you have in common?
0.
Has he ever hit you before?
No, there was a case a few years back, but it was not, no.
Were you a victim in a DV case or battery case last year?
Yes.
It was with the same defendant, correct?
Yes.
Okay, nothing further, Judge.
Defense.
No questions at this time, Your Honor.
State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond? He does not qualify for PTR.
Yes, Your Honor. Given his history, and given that he does have a prior domestic violence battery conviction, 2018 with the same victim, the state would ask for a $2,500 bond and no contact and maintain separate residences.
Defense.
Your Honor, I'd just be asking for a $1,000 bond, and based on the testimony, no hostile contact.
I will set bond in the amount of $1,500 with the following conditions. Sir, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, Ms. Jakes. You will maintain separate residences. You may return one time with law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. You will possess no weapons or firearms while out on bond, and you will not consume any alcohol while out on bond. Do you have any questions?
Amen.
Thank you. Have a good day. Could you tell me your name?
Jennifer Echigari.
Ma'am, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. It looks like you qualify for pretrial release, but before we discuss bond, I think there's somebody here that wishes to be heard. Sir, could you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Could you tell me your name?
Matthew Reagan.
And are you the alleged victim?
I am.
Is there something you wish to tell me?
Yeah, I just let her come home, and she has a kid that she needs to take care of. So, just no violent contact, you know, and that's all I care.
All right, State, any questions?
No questions, Judge.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it appears she has no criminal history. With regard to the bond, State, or release?
State has no problem with pretrial release, Judge, and if you want to set a bond, a $500 is fine with the state.
Okay. Your Honor, I think if Your Honor would consider setting a $500 bond.
I will set a $500 bond or pretrial release, whichever she prefers. As a condition of release, she is to have no hostile contact with the alleged victim and to possess no weapons or firearms while on release. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No.
Thank you.
Judge, the next two victims, both of them, both of them got arrested with each other, they're each other victims. Do you want both of them to come in or just one at a time?
One at a time.
Okay. Gidley?
Could you tell me your name?
My name is Christopher, and the last name is Gidley.
Mr. Gidley, you were arrested in two cases. One is 2019 MM 9278 for domestic violence battery, and in 2019 MM 9279 for domestic violence battery.
No, Your Honor, it's his
Nine-
wife. I believe it's his wife.
9279. Oh, they both say Gidley. So I'm sorry, one's Vanessa and one's
Oh,
Christopher.
okay.
So you just have the 9278. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you temporarily in this matter. Since there are two of you, they'll have to decide who it is that they can represent on a permanent basis. It appears that he qualifies for PTR. Does the state or defense wish to be heard with regard to that, or wish to inquire of Vanessa Gidley? She's the next one up.
I'd have to wait till we hear from her.
All right.
We're gonna put it to the side right here.
Okay. Ma'am, could you tell me your name? All right, Vanessa Gidley? All right. We are discussing any conditions of release for Christopher Gidley. Is there anything that you want to tell me with regard to that issue?
As to what had happened?
No, you don't need to tell me about what happened. However, both of you are entitled to be released or to get bond. And I've got to set appropriate conditions if that occurs. So I just need to find out from you whether you believe you would be in danger with any contact with him, whether you want to have contact with him. What do you think the conditions of release should be?
I'm not in fear of my life or in danger. We do have 3 kids. I mean, we live together, we pay bills together, we have a life outside of this. It's just a mistake that happened and shouldn't have happened. And because of that, we're here. So,
All right. State, do you wish to inquire?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Gidley, have you and the defendant ever had any interactions that were physical in front of the children?
no,
Have you ever called 911 on him before?
no.
How long have you lived together?
16, 17 years.
Nothing further, Judge.
Defense?
Ms. Gidley, do you want to have contact?
Yes,
Okay. And you want to continue living together?
yes.
Okay.
All right. With regard to release on Mr. Gidley,
Your Honor, state, if he qualifies for pretrial release, state has no objection. If you want to set a bond, state will request $500, but as a condition of the bond, state will want no hostile contact. I think this situation, no hostile contact is appropriate.
thank you. Defense?
$500 bond or PTR?
I will authorize your release, Mr. Gidley, on $500 bond or pretrial release. As a condition of that release, either on bond or PTR. You will have no hostile contact with Vanessa Gidley, and you will not consume any alcohol while you're out on release. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
All right. Then we will move to the initial appearance of Vanessa Gidley, and we'll let Mr. Gidley stay, because I'll have the same questions for him. Ma'am, could you tell me your name? And Ms. Gidley, you were arrested also for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter, and I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. You also qualify for PTR, and before I consider bond, I need to hear from Mr. Gidley with regard to any appropriate conditions for release.
I'm fine, Your Honor. Like she had stated, it was something that should never have happened. She's not violent towards me or the kids. Nothing has ever been thrown in front of the kids where there has been that violence, so I don't have any objection.
All right. State, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
So just to be clear, you do want contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
And you
Oh,
do want to
sorry.
live with her?
Yes, I do. Sorry.
Thank you. With regard to the matter of release, state.
Your Honor, state has no objection to the same conditions. I believe $500 bond or PTR, no hostile contact, no alcohol.
Defense. All right. Then, Ms. Gidley, I will also release you on pretrial release or a $500 bond. Upon your release, you will have the following conditions: no hostile contact with Mr. Gidley, and consume no alcohol while you're out on release. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No. Well, what's pretrial mean?
Your attorney can explain to you what the pretrial release program is. It's a way to get released from jail without posting a bond, and they do some supervision.
Okay, just, we don't live down here.
Yeah, I would just post the bond. I don't know. Yeah.
Nobody else.
Our main office number. And,
Could you tell me your name?
No, hey, Alani Housen.
Ms. Housen, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. State, she does qualify, and defense, she qualifies for pretrial release. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the matter of bond?
No, Your Honor.
This the victim, Your Honor.
Yes. Sir, what is your name?
Aaron Jordan.
All right, Mr. Jordan, you are the alleged victim of this domestic violence battery. I'm going to set conditions of release. Is there anything that you want to tell me with regard to appropriate conditions of release?
No, ma'am. Only thing I can say is we're from Columbus, Ohio. We have 4 kids at home. Haven't really been able to make contact with them, so yeah. I think both of us are just kind of worried about our kids at this point.
All right, thank you. State, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Mr. Jordan, how long have you known the defendant?
We've been together for 2 years, known each other probably 2.5.
You have 4 kids total together?
She has 3, I have 1, but they're my kids. My kids, her kids.
Have you had any physical interaction with this defendant before?
No, I mean, we really actually have an amazing relationship.
If anything were to happen again, would you call 911?
Huh?
If anything were to happen again, like what you're in right now, would you call 911?
I mean, yeah.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, defense, do you have any questions?
Sir, do you want to have contact with Ms. Housen?
I mean, she lives with me. I mean, I don't expect anything like this ever happening again. Yeah, I would love that.
I just need to know if you want to or not.
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay. And you want to keep living together?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, with regard to the amount of bond, state.
For Ms. Housen, state would ask for a $500 bond, Your Honor. And also, given the facts of this case, state would ask that a no contact order be entered.
Right.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Howson, I will permit you to be released on a $500 bond or pretrial release, whichever you prefer. As conditions of that release, you will have a no hostile contact with Mr. Jordan, and you will consume no alcohol while out on release. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you. And you can stay here while I deal with Mr. Jordan, because we're going to have the same questions of you.
Okay.
And on this case, I am only temporarily appointing the public defender to represent Ms. Howson so that they can make a decision with regard to whom it is they would represent. Sorry about that. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Aaron C. Jordan.
Mr. Jordan, you were arrested for domestic violence battery, and I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter as well.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, is there anything that you want to tell me about conditions, appropriate conditions of release?
I feel the same way. Like, this is way out of left field for us, and I don't see it happening in the future. We have kids together in a house together, so.
State, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions?
Ms. Howson, do you want contact with Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Do you want to keep living together?
Yes.
State, you wish to be heard with regard to bond?
I think the same conditions that you did for Ms. Howson are appropriate for this case, Your Honor.
I agree.
All right. Then, Mr. Jordan, I will authorize your release on either a $500 bond or pretrial release, whichever you prefer. As conditions of release, you will have no hostile contact with Ms. Howson, and you will consume no alcohol.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by bond or pretrial release?
You can choose whichever you prefer, and the Assistant Public Defender can explain to you what pretrial release is. It is release without posting a monetary bond, but you have some supervision.
Okay.
It don't matter, they still not supposed to tell me.
Sir, could you tell me your name?
Calvin Leggett.
Mr. Leggett, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. It does not appear that you qualify for pretrial release. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond and conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. State would ask for a no contact order. He does have 2 prior failure to appears, the last one being October of 2017. So to ensure his appearance at court, state would ask for a $1,000 bond.
Defense?
No input, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Leggett, I will set bond in the amount of $1,000. I will order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, that you maintain separate residences. Do you have any belongings at her residence? No? All right. I will also order that you consume no alcohol while you're out on bond, and that you possess no weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Could you tell me your name?
Jimmy Lee Peak.
Mr. Peak, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. Stated, it appears that he qualifies for PTR. Do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond or other release?
Yes, Your Honor. Given the facts of this case, Judge, state would ask for a $1,500 bond. I don't see any prior battery convictions, but he does have some history. That was expunged. I don't know if you can see it. But
Yeah, no, once it expunged means it's actually destroyed, I believe.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Judge?
Expunged means it's actually destroyed, it's
Oh, okay.
not just sealed.
That's all from the state.
All right, thank you. Defense.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Then, Mr. Peak, I will release you on either PTR or a $1,500 bond, whichever you choose. As a condition of that release, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You will maintain separate residences. Do you have any belongings at her residence?
Yes, ma'am.
I will permit you to return to the home one time with law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. While you're on release, you will possess no weapons or firearms, and you will consume no alcohol. Do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions for the judge?
I mean, fuck no.
Okay. No, Your Honor. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go. I got a courage. That's different number, but
They might bring you.
okay.
Yeah.
Sir, could you tell me your name?
Charles Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. It appears you qualify for pretrial release. State, do you wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Defense.
No, Your Honor, just requesting minimal bond.
All right. Mr. Thompson, I will authorize your release on pretrial release or a $500 bond. As a condition of your bond or PTR, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You will maintain separate residences. Do you have anything over at her residence?
Yes, ma'am.
I will permit you to return one time with law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. While you're out on bond, you will possess no weapons or firearms and consume no alcohol. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Tell me your name.
James Berthune, ma'am.
Sir, you were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I am going to stay bond in the amount of $1,000 in order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You're all set. You actually go that way.
How you doing, ma'am? My name Merrill Maurice Calhoun. I was born 9/15/82. I just want to know if you could give me a reasonable bond so I can get some jackets for my kids, cause it's cold, and my case gonna get resolved because I can't talk about my case, but I just want to know if I can get a reasonable bond so I could get some jackets for my kids because I was supposed to be going to get jackets, but I ended up going with some friends and got in trouble.
All
I
right.
can't talk about the case, but
No, you should not talk about the case.
yes, ma'am. My lawyer, she told me,
hold
and
on.
she thinks she can beat me in basketball.
Hold on just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've got some things I've got to do.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
Mr. Calhoun, you were arrested for trafficking in oxycodone of more than 4 grams.
Yeah, but I don't know nothing
hold
about
on.
no people.
I do find probable cause
Oh.
for your arrest in this
Oh.
matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do not qualify for a pretrial release. I have had an opportunity to review your rather extensive criminal history, And
It just
the-
read bad.
and-
I'm not a bad person, ma'am.
And
You can
your
ask these COs, they know me.
histories of failures to appear.
I go to all my court dates.
So at this time, I am going to stay bond in the amount of $100,000. You can have a more extensive bond hearing before the judge is signed, and it is assigned to Division 11.
So you know who my judge is?
I know it's assigned to Division 11. I think that's Judge Beamer, I believe.
So you keeping my bond at $100,000?
I am.
This is.
Could you tell me your name?
Craig Costner.
Mr. Constant, you were arrested for grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with sirens and lights activated, and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter and will appoint the public defender to represent you. I would stay bond on the grand theft and resisting counts. We do need to discuss the fleeing and eluding, and I do note that he is presently out on ROR and on a grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. State, he does not qualify for PTR. Do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond and the fleeing?
Yes, Your Honor. On the fleeing and attempting to elude, state would ask for a $5,000 bond given his Florida conviction history and the 13 failure to appear.
Defense?
Your Honor, as to the fleeing, it is a third-degree felony. Be asking for bond in the amount of $1,000. As to the out on ROR case, I did note from the court file that Mr. Costin was released on his own recognizance after the 33rd day, and the state at this point has still not filed charges. And so if Your Honor did revoke his release, he would have to be immediately re-released pursuant to the 40-day rule. So I'd ask the court to take no action on that case.
All right, state.
Do you have the case number for that one?
2019 CF 14206.
Is that Orange County?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even see it in my system, Your Honor. Maybe. Can I get the case number again?
2019 CF 14206.
The state would ask that.
Looks like he
I'm
was
sorry.
just ROR'd Thursday? Thursday.
State did file a response to a 33-day motion saying that we're waiting on a tasking. State would ask that no action be taken by Your Honor, and that another judge address the issue at another time.
All right, I will take no action then on 2019 CF 14206 since the state has not yet filed an information and the defendant was released under the rules of criminal procedure. With regard to the fleeing and attempting to elude count, in light of the defendant's prior criminal history and history of failures to appear, I will set bond in the amount of $5,000 with the condition that he have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim of the grand theft count. What? I state the other bonds, yes. Tell me your name.
My name is J.B.R. David Felton.
What happened to Mr. Doddard?
He refused, Your Honor.
All right, he will be reset. Mr. Felton, you were arrested for trafficking in heroin of more than 4 grams, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of methamphetamine, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter and will appoint the public defender to represent you. In light of your prior criminal history and history of failures to appear and the fact that you do not qualify for pretrial release, I will stay bonds in the amounts presently set.
So they'll be able to give you a pen. Okay. Your Honor, would the court be willing to read those into the record? I don't have the paperwork in front of me.
I'm sorry, I thought you did. The bonds that are presently set are $100,000 on the trafficking in heroin, $15,000 on the possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, $1,000 on the possession of cocaine, $15,000 on the possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell or deliver, $15,000 on the possession of 3,4-methylene dioxymethamphetamine with intent to sell or deliver. I'm sorry. $1,000 each on the possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver and possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Appreciate it.
Sir, could you tell me your name?
Stacy Foster, good morning. Judge, I have a funeral this weekend. My cousin was murdered, Desha Harold. I was wondering if I could make it.
Well, let me do my stuff first, and then we'll talk about release in just a moment. Okay. You were arrested on possession of methamphetamine and illegal use of a dairy case or egg basket. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I also note that you don't qualify for PTR. You are out on bond on 2019 CF 12722. I'm going to look that up, and then I will hear from the state or defense with regard to this matter. No, that's the wrong. It's 12772? 12772. This appears to be another one where the state has not filed an information, and he was released on his own recognizance on October 14th. State, do you have any different information than that?
Your Honor, I'm saying a response filed by the state. I'm saying we're awaiting an FDLE lab report in order to file. That was back on October 10th. State again would ask that no action be taken until another judge can hear the issue later time.
All right, then I will take no action on 2019 CF 12772 at the request of the state attorney's office. I will stay bond in the amount of $1,000 on the possession of methamphetamine and $500 on the misdemeanor. Any questions, sir?
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Your Honor, did you appoint the public defender's office for that one?
I thought I did. I did not. I will appoint the public defender to represent him. Could you tell me your name?
Willis Gilbert, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm well. Mr. Gilbert?
Yes, ma'am.
You were arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting an officer with violence, possession of cocaine with a weapon, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, violation of a domestic violence injunction by possessing the firearm or failing to surrender it, resisting an officer without violence, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and assault on a law enforcement officer. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter, and that was as to 2019 CF 15878. With regard to 2019 CF 15877, you were arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting with violence, and I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. I do note that you do not qualify for pretrial release. Presently, state and defense, there are no bonds set on the possession of cocaine with a weapon and violation of the domestic violence injunction. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Defendant has 2 prior failure to appear, and his conviction history consists of domestic violence battery, cruelty towards a child, couple of resistings, false ID to a Leo, stalking charges. So in regards to the possession of a cocaine with a weapon, I believe that's a second-degree felony. State would ask for a $5,000 bond. For the violation of domestic violence injunction, state would ask for a $100 bond.
All right.
Your Honor, can I say something, please?
Well, let me hear from your attorney
Oh, I'm
first,
sorry.
and then she can let you know whether it's a good idea for you to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on one second. Your Honor, so I understand that a number of bonds are already
Yes,
set.
they're set at the secondary amounts of 150 or 100. I can go through those with you if you need me to.
That's okay. I would just be asking to keep counts 2 through, I think it is 8 at the subsidiary, and set a primary bond in the amount of $2,500, and then as to the first case, 15877, would just be asking for $1,500 on the primary and subsidiary on count 2.
All right, then with regard to 2019 CF 15877, I will stay bond on count 1 at oh no, I'm sorry, that one's at 2,500. I'm going to stay bond at 2,500 in that case in light of the criminal history and failures to appear. In 2019 CF 15878, as to the battery on a Leo, I will stay bond at 150. As to the resisting an officer with violence, I will stay bond at 150. As to the possession of cocaine with a weapon, I will set bond in the amount of $2,000. With regard to the possession of a firearm by convicted felon, I will stay bond at 150. With regard to the violation of domestic violence injunction, I will set bond in the amount of 150. With regard to the resisting officer without violence, I will stay bond at 100. With regard to the possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, I will stay bond at 150. And with regard to the assault on a Leo, I will stay bond at 100.
Your Honor, may I say something, please, now?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
100. Your Honor, I got a question for you. It says right here, on the violation of injunction, I was never on it. I'm not on no injunction, ma'am. With all due respect, I don't know about no injunction. I had an injunction years ago. The case is closed, so I don't even know how that. I mean, I don't understand it, ma'am. I don't want to. This whole thing, and this is not my vehicle. I was just in one car sleep. Okay.
Not all about the facts.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna let you, I wanna state the fact, ma'am, that, violation of injunction, that was years ago. That case been closed. So I don't know how do I got a violation of injunction? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't with no, I didn't go see nobody.
Well, it was by not surrendering the firearm.
I don't own a firearm, ma'am, that's with all respect, I really don't.
Again, she's not gonna want you to say anything about the facts of the case.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to know, that's what I'm asking.
So, just means that's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is there any way, I'm sorry, I won't ask about the bond. Is there any way, like, how much is this? Because I work for the Ultimate I-4 project, and the longer I stay here, I'm not gonna be able to get my check or bond out. Any way do I, because for some pre-trial release or R&R or something, ma'am? Because like I say, I work.
You do not qualify for pretrial release? And in light of your history, I have set reasonable bonds. I'm looking at,
I was just trying to get them.
I'm looking at the injunction.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am. I haven't had no injunction in I don't know how long. Those were years ago. My kid's mother.
Yeah, some.
That injunction was years ago, it was like 2010 or 11 or something.
I can't tell which county this injunction is from.
Orange County, that's where.
Yeah, I can't tell from the paperwork,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
and I only have access to Orange County at the moment.
And those that without,
But you have, I have set a $150 bond on that.
yes, ma'am. All right, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Just add that up and fill out it in the back.
Tell me your name.
Antonio Guadalupe.
What happened to John Gray?
I'm sorry, he's beheaded, Your Honor.
All right, he will be reset. Mr. Guadalupe, you were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, as well as driving under the influence. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you on these two cases. You do not qualify for pretrial release. I will stay bond on the possession of firearm by convicted felon at $5,000, $150 on the possession of ammunition by convicted felon. If you can post bond on that case, you will possess no firearms while you're out on bond. And in the DUI, I will stay bond in the amount of $500. Order that you not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and that you consume no alcohol while out on bond. Do you have any questions, sir?
Okay, they have to stay. Well, right now, I don't get paid till like Thursday, but my mom is gonna come in with some money until then.
Your Honor, Mr. Guadalupe is informing me that at this point, he wouldn't be able to financially afford a bond in the amount of $5,000. If he's requesting that Your Honors consider reducing the bond to something around $2,000.
So I get like direct deposit whatever, Thursday
It
night.
was Guadalupe. Thank you. And there were two of them. Guadalupe had two. Thank you.
Sorry about that, Judge.
That's okay. State?
Your Honor, he has several convictions for resisting without violence, several convictions for battery on an officer, fleeing and attempting to elude, violations of probation, failure to appear. I think your bond amount is reasonable, and I'd ask you to stay at the $5,000.
Defense?
No, not that I see. Your Honor, I understand that the court considered those factors. The only thing left I would have to add is that I did confirm Mr. Guadalupe is employed full-time. He works on the I-4 project, which I don't know if Your Honor's familiar.
All too familiar with it.
Yeah, yeah. And he does have ties to his to the community through his mother and other family members.
I am going to stay bond at $5,000 on that count.
You're all set.
All right.
Ma'am, could you tell me your name?
Amber Nicole Harrison.
Ms. Harrison, you were arrested for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. It appears that bond was set in the amount of $1,000 on the grand theft. However, she is out on bond in 2009, or out on PTR in 2019 CF 13570, grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle and trespass in a conveyance.
And just for the court's awareness, Your Honor, the out on bond case and information has not been filed by the state.
I see that. State, do you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I would ask that no action be taken on the felony case. Although no information has been filed, it's only been a month since she was arrested on that charge. And as for this new grand theft, I would ask that bond actually be increased to $3,000. She has a prior grand theft auto conviction, a pending grand theft auto, a petty theft. All of these events stem from the same sort of conduct, so I would ask for a $3,000 bond.
Defense.
I'd also be asking the court to take no action on the out on bond, and as to the current charge in front of us, would just be asking that Your Honor stay the bond. Do understand the history, however, I'm not seeing failures to appear within the last 8 years or so. The rest of the convictions are nonviolent in nature, and I don't see anything that indicates Ms. Harrison can't be trusted to live in the community and come back to court.
At the request of the state, I will take no action on 2019 CF 13570. With regard to 2019 CF 15908, I will increase the bond to $2,500. Order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim.
Okay. You're all set.
Could you tell me your name?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Glenn Houston.
All right, what happened to Timothy Harris?
Bonded out, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Harris, you were arrested for attempted second-degree murder with a firearm, discharging a firearm in public, criminal mischief of more than $1,000, shooting or throwing a missile into an occupied dwelling, and aggravated assault with a firearm. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find that proof of guilt is evident or presumption great. State, do you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. You do have discretion to grant bond in this case, but the state would ask that no bond be issued. There are several witnesses in this case that I can attest to the fact that this event did happen. He does not have a history of violence. However, he was arrested for battery 2 times, no convictions, but they would ask for no bond on this case, Your Honor.
Defense.
Can I just have one moment, Your Honor?
You may.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it that you want to say to the judge? Okay, so today, we're not gonna talk about any of the facts. She's not deciding any of that. Okay? I just need to know what to get out of jail. Nothing? Your Honor, I just wanted to make sure, this offense as charged, it's a little above my pay grade. I just want to be sure that it is in fact a PBL and that it,
I believe it's probably an F1, not an F1 PBL.
okay.
Typically, let me look again, I think second-degree murder is, let's see.
It's an F1, Your Honor. Attempted second-degree murder with a firearm, I believe that is.
So in that case, I believe that Mr. Houston would be entitled to a bond.
Yes.
He's indicated to me that financially, he's not in a place where he'd be able to afford a significant bond. Obviously, the court has to consider the safety of the community, as well as his ability to pay, but I would also ask that the court consider that he appears to have very minimal, if any, history. He can provide testimony as to ties to the community, and I do believe that he's a veteran of the armed forces.
And Your Honor, if I may, there is a post-Miranda admission that he did shoot at one of the victims. If you could take that into account for the no bond.
Yeah, I do have information here with regard to his prior service in the Marines and his longevity in the community. I will set bond on count 1, the attempted second-degree murder with a firearm, in the amount of $20,000. On the discharge of a firearm in public, in the amount of $150,000. The criminal mischief in the amount of $150,000. The shooting into an occupied dwelling in the amount of $2,500. And the ag assault with a firearm in the amount of $2,500. Sir, if you post bond, you shall not possess any firearms. While you're out on bond, you shall surrender any firearms to law enforcement.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I forgot to say, he's hearing impaired.
I can talk. I didn't hear you, Your Honor, but I would like to say, in my,
Not about the facts.
Sir, I was saying that if you are able to, okay. Sir, I was saying that if you are able to post bond, you will possess no firearms while you're out on bond, and you will surrender any firearms to law enforcement. You will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim.
yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I just want to say I disagree.
Please.
Yes, ma'am, I'm okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
within
Good,
24
I
hours.
promise. Okay. Your Honor, does he have 24, 48
I said
hours?
24 hours
24.
to surrender firearms.
All right.
Could you tell me your name?
Nicole Kimberly.
All right, hold on just a second. Let me find your sheet. Okay. Ms. Kimberly, you were arrested for possession of fentanyl, possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and petty theft. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You do not qualify for pretrial diversion. I will stay bonds as they are set in the amount of $1,000 on the fentanyl, $150 on the cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and paraphernalia, and $100 on the petty theft. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
Yes. No questions at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Isaiah Lamar.
Mr. Lamar, you were arrested for possession of 3,4-methylene dioxymethamphetamine, also known as ecstasy, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will stay bonds as they are set in that matter in the amount of $1,000 on the felony and $100 on the misdemeanor. However, you are out on bond in 2019 CF 13173. The state attorney has in fact filed an information in that case. I will revoke your bond in that case in order that you be held on no bond. Do you have any questions? You have a public defender in that case already, I believe.
Yes, Your Honor. So, I'm gonna let.
Tell me your name.
Corey Rader, ma'am.
What happened to Rasheem Merritt? Thank you. Mr. Rader, you were arrested for burglary of a conveyance with a mask and 2 counts of attempted burglary of a conveyance. You were arrested based on an arrest warrant issued by Judge Rodriguez. I do find probable cause, as did Judge Rodriguez. You also have a second case, which is 2019 CF 15913 of possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that case as well. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. In light of your prior criminal history and failures to appear, you do not qualify for PTR, and I will stay bond as they're presently set in 2019 CF 15674, burglary of a conveyance with a mask at $2,500, $100 each on the attempted burglary charges, and in the possession of cocaine, $1,000. On the burglary cases, you will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right.
Tell me your name.
Miguel Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you were arrested for possession of heroin with intent to sell, conspiracy to sell or deliver heroin, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, conspiracy to sell or deliver cocaine, possession of fentanyl, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You do qualify for PTR. So I will stay bonds where they're presently set or permit release on pretrial release. Do you have any questions?
Because these are going to be very expensive. Thank you, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
Dehan Siraj.
What happened to Mr. Sarter?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, who's medical?
Medical, all right, he will be reset. Mr. Siraj, you have a couple of cases. In 2018 CF 3407, you were arrested on an outstanding warrant for failure to appear
No, ma'am.
in Division 17. No bond was set on that warrant. And in 2019 CF 15870, you were arrested for tampering with physical evidence, possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both of those matters. So I'm not sure that you had the public defender in the 2018 case. I will stay bond at the amount of $1,000 on the tampering and $250 on the possession of cannabis, $500 on the possession of drug paraphernalia. And as I indicated, you have no bond on the capias for failing to appear.
I did on the, before the arraignment was set, I did go and get my license. I wanted to bring it in court today so that, you know, I was supposed to have that in court before I had the arraignment, so I don't know how. I never did find out about the court date until much later, of course, because the person that bonded me out, we kind of fell out, so. I wanted to bring this, turn myself in so I wouldn't have this issue. Is there any way that I can get a bond on this?
I am not going to change the bond that was set by the judge assigned to the case, but you can have a bond hearing before that judge.
Okay, about how long does that take, do you know?
I can't tell you that. That will depend upon how soon your attorney can get a motion filed and get it scheduled for hearing.
Make a note of your situation. You have a valid license?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Tell me your name.
Lahide.
What happened with Ms. Weston?
Bonded, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wilhide, you were arrested for possession of heroin, attempted destruction of evidence, and possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as burglary of a dwelling. I do find probable cause for your arrest in those matters. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both of those cases. With the burglary of a dwelling, I will stay bond at $5,000, order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, and that you not return to the scene of that offense. And with regard to the drug case, I will stay bond in the amount of $1,000 on the heroin and $100 each on the 2 misdemeanors. You are presently out on bond in 2019 CF 12766.
Your Honor, we'd actually be asking that the court go ahead and revoke her release on that case.
All right. I will revoke your release on that case in order that you be held at no bond.
Yeah, 'cause they have a box.
Yeah, or that's what I was checking, but I don't think they have. I think I looked at this one earlier. I'm not positive though.
Tell me your name. Tell me your name.
Mitchell.
I didn't hear, Amari Mitchell?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, you were arrested for failure to appear for a no valid driver's license. A $500 bond was set on that failure to appear. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in that matter. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Just fine.
Tell me next, please.
Yep.
Tell me your name.
Michael Lamont Tomlin.
What happened to Mr. Monterosis Velasquez? What?
1903-3177.
Mr. Tomlin, you were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked, operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and attaching a tag not assigned. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. And will stay bonds as they're presently set at $500 on the driving while license suspended and $100 each on the other two. You are presently out on bond in 2019 CF 7623. I am going to revoke your bond in that case, order that you be held at no bond. Do you have any questions, sir? Thank you. Have a good day.
Your Honor, is the PD appointed if we weren't already on the out on bond?
Yes.
Yes,
We were?
he must
Okay.
have been. He's set for trial.
Okay. All right, so I'll let them know, so they can get you back in court, okay? Do it today, so hopefully they can get on it quickly.
Tell me your name.
Vincent Boyd.
All right, what happened to Mr. Vasquez Ortiz?
I have that on my docket.
1903-3176.
All right, thank you. Mr. Boyd, you were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. We're getting the headphones for Mr.
Oh.
Boyd.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Boyd, you were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as on-view arrest for 2 felony probations out of Lake County. I do find probable cause for your arrest in this matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in the Orange County case, the paraphernalia, and will stay bond in the amount of $500 on that case. With regard to the on-view violations of probation, I'm going to set no bond, and you should be transported to Lake County to deal with those cases. Do you have any questions, sir?
Come on.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Make sure you don't plead. Make sure you don't plead for anything. Okay, because that'll violate you over there. Okay, I'm just making sure you know.
Could you tell me your name?
Corey Burke.
All right, give me just a minute, Mr. Burke. Let me find your sheet. And while I'm finding it, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I can't seem to find Mr. Burke's sheet. Can you perhaps, thank you. I will stay bond in the amount of $500, order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, and that you not possess any weapons or firearms while out on bond.
Your Honor, can we also have a no return to that Family Dollar?
Yes, and that you not return to the Family Dollar. Do you have any questions, sir?
The only thing I can ask is because if there's any way I can be RR'd or something, so I don't lose my job, I don't get paid until next Friday, and I would definitely lose my job and I have my daughter to take care of. Is that possible?
You do not qualify for pretrial release, and in light of the criminal history that I see here and the violations of probation, I would not release you ROR.
Thank you, ma'am.
Could you tell me your name?
Yeah, my name is John Lee Newton.
Mr. Newton, you were arrested for trespass on property after warning and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. I will stay bond in the amount of $500 and $100. You do not qualify for PTR. Do you have any questions, sir?
No.
Here you go, sir.
Tell me your name.
Chanteron Stanley.
Ms. Stanley, you were arrested for battery and petty theft. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do not qualify for pretrial release. I will stay bond on the battery case in the amount of $500 and $100 on the petty theft. You will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim while you're released. Do you have any questions?
State would ask that bond be increased to $2,000. She has a prior aggravated assault with deadly weapon charge, and she has 10 prior failure to appears, the last being in 2013.
When was that, what year was that aggravated assault?
You don't have to say anything.
I can pull it up real fast.
Are you talking about the juvenile arrest?
No, it's a conviction.
Oh, I see.
The aggravated assault with the deadly weapon conviction was in 2012 in Orange County.
I'm going to keep on it as I previously indicated. Thank you. Tell me your name. Could you tell me, you need,
I think he needs the hearing assist.
I need that.
Oh.
I can hear, yes.
Oh, well, the judge asked your name.
William Stevens.
Mr. Stevens?
Well,
you-
she was talking to me, that's why
Well,
I didn't know.
we both thought you needed, but anyways,
No,
okay.
okay, I'm good.
Mr. Stevens, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will stay bond on the battery in the amount of $500 in order that you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim and that you not return to that location. You are out on bond on 2019 CF 10769. date, it looks like there was an ROR because there was no information was filed within 33 days.
Your Honor, the state would ask no action be taken. We're still awaiting sworn witness statements. And notice of non-filing was filed back on August 29th.
I will take no action at the request of the state on 2019 CF 10769.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Does past step behavior? Is behavior just?
All right, she will be reset.
And then you have a Marilyn Zumbler.
Yes.
Mental health, Your Honor.
All right, she will be reset. Sir, could you tell me your name?
Michael Carrasquillo.
Mr. Carrasquillo, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Pinellas County. Might be. Oh, sorry. You were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Pinellas County. There were 2 counts on that warrant, and they each have a bond of $1,513. And they are both the same case. So if you post bond, you'll have to return to Pinellas County, and if you don't post bond, they'll come get you. You have any questions, sir?
Not really.
Oh, we don't, yeah, we don't have. We just have to go online and find out.
Could you tell me your name
Christian, good afternoon.
and your last name?
Constant Duval.
Mr. Constant Duval, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Miami-Dade.
Yeah.
No bond was set on that warrant. Miami-Dade should be here to get you before long.
I believe it was Broward Sheriff counties, not
Okay.
Miami-Dade. I just stay in Miami-Dade. I came up here to the auction to get a
Yeah,
car.
it is Broward. Where did I see Miami-Dade?
Right. So I don't have no bond, right?
No bond. Yeah, it is
And
Broward.
do you know how long would it take for them to get to me?
Although this one says Miami.
'Cause I was supposed to be at work Monday, so I was just trying to make sure.
I have no idea how long it'll take Broward to come get you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Amethyst Beck refuse, Your Honor.
All right, let me just look at that again. I do find probable cause for Ms. Feck's arrest. I will stay bond at the $2,500 amount. Order that this be reset if she wishes to participate, but there is probable cause for her. Yes, for her detention.
Did we temporarily appoint the PD on that
I
as well?
can temporarily appoint the PD if you wish
Sure.
for me to do that.
Please, thank you.
All right, sir, could you tell me your name?
Billy Ray Fisher.
Mr. Fisher, you were arrested for aggravated battery with a weapon. I do find probable cause for your arrest, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I should set a bond on this, however, he has out-of-county hold, so if he posts bond, he'll be going to Columbia and Volusia counties. State, do you wish to be heard with regard to the amount of bond?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
Be asking for, I'd just be asking for an amount of 2,500, Your Honor.
Your Honor, given that this is a second-degree felony, if they're asking for 2,500, state would ask for 5,000 at least. Except a couple of VLPs, a couple failure to appears, and given the severity of the charge and the facts, state would ask for a higher bond amount.
I will set bond in the amount of $3,500 with the following conditions. You will have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You will maintain separate residences. Do you have anything at that location?
Yes,
Any of your-
ma'am. My cell phone
Okay.
and all my belongings.
All right. I will permit you to return with law enforcement on one occasion to retrieve your belongings.
Okay.
You will possess no weapons or firearms while out on bond.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
I guess that's it. I mean, I've also pressed charges myself. I didn't know how that works or, it
Yeah,
was-
he's not in front of me today, so I can't
Okay.
tell you.
Okay.
All right.
alrighty.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me your name?
Alicia Brand.
All right. Did Ms. Howe refuse again?
Behavior, yes, Your Honor.
All right. With regard to Ms. Howe, I do find probable cause for her arrest on assignation to commit prostitution. Will temporarily appoint the public defender. Will stay bond in the amount of $500 and will order that she be brought back for an IA if she cares to participate. Ms. Howe, let me find, what happened to Mr.?
Tyner refused.
Tyner refused. Okay. And you're Ms. Howe?
No, I'm
No.
Brand.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Tyner refused again, so let me look at him. Mr. Tyner was arrested for soliciting without a permit. There is probable cause for his detention. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent him and stay bond in the amount of $500. Order that he be brought back over for IA if he wishes to participate. And then I also have Alicia Brand.
Yes.
All right. Got the right one finally. Ms. Brand, you were arrested for possession of cocaine in 2019 CF 15904. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter. You are also arrested for a violation of probation, and that case number is 2018 CF 15186. No bond was set on the VOP. With regard to the possession of cocaine, I will stay bond in the amount of $1,000. I will appoint the public defender to represent you on both cases. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
Did you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
First.
Tell me your name.
Christopher Gaskin.
Mr. Gaston, you were arrested for an open container and for a violation of probation. On the open container, I do find probable cause for your arrest and will stay bond in the amount of $250. In the VOP, it's on 2018 CF 18326. There is probable cause for your arrest on the violation of probation. I will set no bond on the VOP. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Perhaps. I'm just saying.
Next.
Not into it.
Okay, gotcha.
You're also-
Okay, thank you.
Tell me your name.
Evan Giroux.
Mr. Giroux, you were arrested for violating your probation. Judge Beamer set no bond on the VOP warrant. I will temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. Do you have any questions, sir?
I have private counsel that'll be here for my VOP hearing.
All right, then I won't temporarily appoint the public defender.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Could you tell me your name?
Alfonso Randolph Matthews.
Mr. Matthews, you were arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia in 2019 CF 15898. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter, and will stay bonds at the amount of $1,000 and $100 on that one. With regard to 2017 CF 4715 and 2019 CF 1549, you were arrested, on view arrest for violating your probation, felony probation in both of those cases. Misdemeanor probation and a felony probation. I will set no bond on the VOPs. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in all three cases.
And for the 2017 case, his probation was revoked.
In 2017? All right, then I will release him ROR on 2017 CF 4715. All right, do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions for the judge?
No, court date, BOPs, and the here.
Judge Whitehead.
Could you tell me your name?
Miguel Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you were arrested for possession of heroin with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, conspiracy to sell or deliver heroin, conspiracy to sell or deliver cocaine, possession of fentanyl, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You were also arrested in 2018 CF 6230 for violating your probation. I do find probable cause for your arrest in these matters. Will appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. I will set no bond on the violation of probation. I will stay bonds on the other case in the amount of $15,000 on the possession of heroin with intent, $15,000 on the possession of cocaine with intent, $150 each on the conspiracy to sell or deliver heroin, conspiracy to sell or deliver cocaine, possession of fentanyl, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device, and stay bond in the amount of $100 on the possession of drug paraphernalia.
Judge, in March, his probation was also revoked.
In March.
Yeah, I'm not on probation, Your Honor.
All right, then I will release him ROR on the VOP. Any questions, sir?
Yeah, I'm not on probation at all.
I know, I released your ROR on that.
Okay.
So you're all set, just the bonds on the new ones. On your new offenses that you can reject.
Okay, there's no way to bring it down, or bring down the bonds? That's, I think those two for the 15,000, can we bring this down? There's no
Yeah.
way to get that down?
Your Honor, I think Mr. Rodriguez is asking for the court to consider reducing bonds on the possession with intent because they're both set at $15,000.
In light of his criminal history and his failures to appear, I would decline to do that.
All right, so for now, they stay. You're all set.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
Eric Conzel.
Sir, you were arrested for soliciting without a permit. I do find probable cause for your arrest in that matter. Will appoint the public defender to represent you. State, do you have any plea offers?
Yes, Judge. I see a prior conviction for soliciting without a permit back in July. State's offers adjudication credit time served. I don't know if it's 2 or more days.
It would be 2 days.
You'd like to accept that, Your Honor?
Court counsel for 7 days. Okay.
Do you want the public defender signed, or you can save $50?
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Sir, your attorney tells me that you want to enter a plea of guilty to soliciting without a permit. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, ma'am.
I will accept your plea, sentence you to the credit for time served of 2 days, order that you pay court costs in the amount of $273 and adjudicate you guilty. Do you want me to establish a payment plan for the payment of those court costs, or do you want to report to the clerk so she can establish a payment plan?
It doesn't matter, Your Honor. I can report.
All right, then I'll order that you report to the clerk of the court within 30 days to establish a payment plan for the payment of that outstanding balance.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. You have the right to appeal. If you want to do that, you have to do it within 30 days. It must be in writing, and I would appoint an attorney to represent you if you couldn't afford one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. I think that's it. One last sheet in there.
Like, I'm getting because I live in the state. Oh, you know, let me grab the rest for you. I just gotta jot this name down.